how we're the same,
Okay,
which I didn't really think of much. We're both white.
that's true.
um,
In saying that, you're Jewish.
yeah,
Ariana is the first Jewish person I've probably ever met.
really. Are there
Uh-huh.
not a lot of Jews in Australia?
Not in. They're a couple, and we have some really old synagogues, but there is not a big Jewish population in Australia by any means. To the point where Ariana wanted to celebrate some high holidays.
Yeah.
He pulled around the synagogues, and it wasn't open. Like it wasn't like an open thing.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's pretty crazy. What's the biggest religion there?
Christianity,
Yeah.
big time. Australians are actually more conservative than people think. Partly because we've got a population something like one third the size of America.
Damn.
Florida has something like 20 million. Australia has 23 million people.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So of course we're going to be more conservative because you've got this inherently Christian population that is governed essentially by a English setup. You know, we the monarchy. The Queen is in charge of our government. We have a Governor General that can fire our government at any time if the Queen said, "You guys are not up to standard. You guys, no, you're out." Governor General can fire the whole Australian government on
Wow.
on yeah, on the word of the Queen. Not that that makes much of a difference in Australia, but when you think about, so get this, Captain was it Captain or no? Australia was founded something like the year America was signing the Declaration of Independence.
Wow. That's late,
So
right?
yeah, so you guys were signing the Declaration of Independence. Like I flew into Philadelphia and was like there. It was like going after the day after the election. We went to bloody see the Liberty Bell and go to all that, and it was like it was bringing me to tears. This thought of like that going on with everything that's happened. And then you think about Australia at the same time was just like convict settlements and people who were like coming over. I think Chinese and Irish and English people were coming over to make settlements there and to like mine gold and try and start new things. But predominantly, I believe it was the convicts, English, Irish, and Chinese. That was it. Like trying to get a start. They'd already
Yeah.
like massacred like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Aborigine people by this point. But it was like it hadn't even developed as having any real um, signing any real documents to be like we are this, Australia is this. When you guys were
Yeah.
signing the Declaration of Independence,
That's crazy.
crazy. So you think about that, like however long after that it is, we got our culture is not very well established in like America is. Like this is what makes it so crazy seeing what's going on now with race and everything because Australia is like was there and then it's sort of just been going along and we've got this attitude of like, oh yeah, no, she'll. There's a big thing in Australia. She'll be right. Ah, she'll be right, mate. She'll be right. We'll get it done. You
Uh
get
huh.
in, you get it done. You don't really talk about it. You don't really get into it. You're just like,
Yeah.
fuck, we'll get it done. We'll get it
Yeah.
fixed. We'll get it sorted. Don't worry about it. Don't. You just don't rock the boat. Don't. She'll be right, mate. She'll be right. We'll get it done. If you sat down and tried to really talk to a lot of Australians about deep shit, they don't want to talk about it.
Huh.
They don't want to. It's like my parent don't want to sit there and talk about it because they're like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Like a lot of people I know don't want to talk about it. They're just like, no, she'll be right. It's fine. I don't
So
think
like Australians don't talk about anything serious.
they prefer not to.
Yeah.
It's really like, yeah, they just prefer it. It's there and stuff's happening. Like there's a same-sex marriage vote going on at the moment. It's a mail-in vote, and there's like stuff like that going on. But essentially, it's not. It's so much like that. A lot of people I've spoken to back home don't give a fuck about the same-sex marriage vote. Not that they care that they don't want it. They're just like, no, just what the fuck am I voting on this shit for? Just bring it in.
Right.
Should we, it's like what? So they're forced to make a decision, which then makes people have to like go through a whole gamut of like, oh, do I not, what?
Yeah.
And so they're going to be influenced, yes or no, by certain aspects of whatever. When honestly, a lot of Australia, including my parents, like I believe they're going to vote yes, but they also might vote. I don't know if they'll vote no, but I don't know if they'll leave. From what I've spoken to them, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're just like, why aren't these? They're like, this is 2017. Just bring this fucking thing in.
Yeah. Like, why are we still talking about it?
Why are we still talking about this? They're like, it's so like. Whereas I find like in America, it's like they want to keep. Like the debate is like, yes, let's fucking talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
really get this. Where Australia is much more like, no, wait, just bring it in or don't bring it in. Why am I being asked this? Like, I'll deal with it either way. I don't care.
Yeah.
But that there goes for how conservative it is, because the amount of like minorities is actually very, very small. Like,
yeah.
Like Aboriginal people are heavily suppressed, and people don't even know about it because it's so systematic. It's such a blight on the Australian people that we don't even know about it. Our like lack of multiculturalism seems quite great, but it's only when I really think about it, it's really only to Asia. We are in the South Pacific, we're right down the bottom there. We're like, Asia is a huge part of it. Vietnamese culture and food is a huge part of our life. Chinese food is, and like it's all over. You think I'm saying food because it's like it's such like a thing that is a part of life. You talk about a lot of cultures, it ends up being, food.
Yeah.
But it's all Asia, India. It's all Asia, and the only other one is England because of the connection with the Queen, and then the rest is through sport. But it's all through our only sports we play are the same sports we're shared either just within Australia or within Commonwealth countries. So we're so isolated.
Yeah.
So our conservative view is so small that a lot of things that have to do with the minorities, we really just want to leave up to the politicians.
Yeah.
The whole essence of so much of like being Australia is you give everyone a chance. You're like, no, we're all good. We're all in it together. We're all there. But when we're asked to decide, we got no deep basis of cultural understanding or understanding of who we are to fall back on.
Yeah.
So it gets preyed upon. So essentially what Australia craves right now culturally is very much the same as the US.
What do you mean?
It's very much the same. What America and Australia are looking at on YouTube, being influenced by what we're looking at media, what we're looking at on the internet is the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. Some of the only stuff is different is that deep sort of cultural stuff that we wouldn't get, that I don't get. When still now when I watch something, I'm like, I don't get crap because they're a Yank. But that's part of being Australian too. If they can take it, then you'll be friends. You're gonna hang out and be friends. If they can't being taken, being called a Yank, and you're like, well, fuck you.
Are you like? Do you talk like that to other Australians? Or are you saying
fuck
like?
Yeah,
so you can be mean and then decide if you want to be friends.
Yeah. My best friends.
I need to move.
My best friends, are the ones that you give the most shit to. The
Yeah.
most. And the worst stuff about it. Like no matter what if you're real good friends and they're from wherever you did like that, everything. You know, if it's too much, they'll let you know, and it's too much. But you're not saying it to be culturally insensitive,
Right.
or like being insensitive. It's just this. It's just the way you're brought up. You're like you give it, and they give it back. Everyone gives it and gives it back.
Yeah. What about like to your parents?
Depends. Yeah, my dad and I. Oh fuck yeah, Dad gets me all the time.
Really?
Gives me shit all the time about living in America. You know, like being a Yank.
Yeah.
You know? He gives it to me all the time. Like Trump, he gives me so much shit about Trump. You know, and he gives my mum. No, my mum. You know, mum like. You know, my mum just wants. You know, like I'm just her boy. It's
yeah.
She doesn't give me crap at all. But Dad, oh yeah, Dad gives me a heap of shit. My sisters give me my youngest, like, give me a heap of shit.
But do you give it, like, do you give it back to your parents? Because I know, like,
fuck yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, you got to.
Damn.
You got to, yeah, you gotta give it back. You know, he gives me shit, I gotta give it. It's just that, you brought up like that. You know, you brought up being able. That's a form of communication. It's a form of love. You know,
yeah.
I've got good friends where the whole time we'll talk to each other would just be who can give each other the most shit, you know?
Yeah.
And if a boiling point was like you were getting there, like if you go, you know, and if they were like good mates and you upset them, like good mates and you upset them, you just be like, fuck off, you know, like you got it. Like sometimes I'm gonna be a bit more sensitive some days than others.
Yeah.
I've got a mate a sensitive day. You'd be like, oh, you want to go have a cry? You want to go have a cry? You're like, fuck you, man. You know, just my brother-in-law gives me so much shit about being a Yank, you know, living over here and it's just the way it is. Straight away. I got a good friend over here, Shane. You met Shane and Gia.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason him and I are good friends is because it's that. You just got
really.
Straight away. Like, there's a point where it's like, all right.
Yeah.
You can give each other the most, and if you got to, like, it's harder. It gets, you know.
Is it different with, like, do you do that? I know you said you do it with, like, your dad and, like, your friends. Do you do it with, like, female friends as well?
If they're that sort of female friends, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that. My favorite Australian females are like that, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it.
Because I just picture, like, here, if you do that, like, it's so insulting. And like, well, you can do it to, like, people you know really well, but, like, meeting people off the bat and you do that, it's like, well, I'm not going to be friends with you, like...
No, in Australia it's the opposite. It's really, you'll meet people, all sexes, you know, no matter where they've grown up, how they've grown up, and that's how you can, self-deprecating. We're very self-deprecating. And a good Australian will be. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be like we're serious, it's always going to be like... The ultimate goal is giving some good shit to each other, making each other laugh, like pulling it to this point where no matter how good or smart you think you are, you'll pull it down to a point where we're all the same.
Yeah.
You know, we're all the same. We're all doing the same thing. We all want to go have a beer. We all want to go have a hangout.
Yeah.
And just get along.
Yeah.
But you know, there's that thing of like Australian of like being up yourself, being too full of yourself, being like too egotistical, too this, too that, and it doesn't fly. It's the bullshit meter again, because it's like anyone you meet, it should be like very down to earth, very, you know, the best people you ever meet in Australia won't pretend they're anything more than they are.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, you know, and it doesn't matter what you do. If you're the fucking coal miner or you're the scientist, you know? It's like, well, you can find some place to meet in the middle, sit at the bar, you know, you have a beer and you talk shit. Just talk shit.
That's fucking awesome.
It is. It's a dying thing. It really is a dying thing. But that's the essence. And that's like a lot of the guys, Ariana will tell you about some of the friends we had back where we were, and that was the whole fucking time we hung out, was just that. It was, they were younger, we had older, younger, it didn't matter, but we all came together on this place of just talking shit and giving each other. You know, it wasn't trying to sit there and pretend like, well, I learned this and I learned that and I do this. It was like, give a fuck. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right now we're sitting here trying to have a good time and make jokes and laugh and, have a good discussion about bullshit, like literally bullshit. Like
Yeah.
just laughing about, being a larrikin. It's called being this Aussie galah kind of character. So, yeah.
You just said a word I didn't know, and then you tried to explain it with like 2 more words I didn't know.
Well, a galah's a type of bird, and it's just a silly bird with a silly laugh, and a larrikin is like that sort of character, just trying to be funny and silly, and still knows how to get serious work done, still knows how to do it, get it done. She'll be right, mate, we'll get it done.
So you have like a lot of like, what do you call it, slang or like colloquialisms? Yeah. So
whole of Australia, it's very much like that. It's all shortening words and and colloquialisms and just sort of something that's just natural.
Yeah.
So it's like putting like someone like Shane, he's Shano. You just call him Shano, whether he likes it or not, he's Shano, If he hates it more, then he's Shano even more, you know what I mean? So you shorten things. So like going out in the afternoon, the arvo,
The what?
The arvo.
For afternoon?
Arvo, yeah.
Avo short for avocado.
No, that's avo. That's avo.
Weird.
Avocado.
I say
the
avo.
Is the arvo.
Huh. Avo.
So yeah, the arvo. Avocado is avo.
You said, but it's avocado, and then you changed it to avo.
No, avocado. Avo.
Avocado.
Arvo is the afternoon. Shit like that. Prezi. They're giving you a prezi as a present,
As a present?
Yeah.
A prezi is, there's this online thing to make, like, presentations.
No, okay, a prezi, okay. Christmas, anything like that. It's all shortened. Everything is like, so you just, like, have a conversation. Yeah, that there is, like, all, and it's less than it was in certain people in certain parts of Australia who it's like, wow.
Yeah.
The way they do their colloquial slang, but you still know what it means.
Right.
You still know what someone's talking about.
It's like a different dialect.
Yeah, it is. In certain parts, at certain ages, the way they talk, you're like, you still grow up knowing what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And everything's got mate at the end of it. You're like, everything.
Yeah.
It's not like especially in confrontational situations, men will say mate like you won't believe. Mate. Seriously, mate. Calm down, mate. You're like, fuck, dude, fuck. Fuck.
Is that like, I feel like my stereotype of Australians is like that you say mate. That's like one of the top things.
I say it a lot less here than I do back home. We swear like crazy, say mate a fucking lot.
Yeah.
All the people I hung around with, we're like, mate is like, yeah, you say it a lot, a fucking lot. You swear and you say it a lot.
Yeah.
And American culture is very big in Australia.
Is there a big community there?
No, not at all. Like, there's communities of African populations, especially in Melbourne and parts of Sydney and Brisbane, but not as much. Melbourne, definitely, I think, the biggest. But it's the influence of African American culture through what we see on the internet and television.
So is it like appropriation?
What do you mean, like?
Is it like disrespectfully used, or it's like total respect?
It's just bled into the culture.
Yeah.
It's bled into it, so it's not being disrespectful at all.
Right.
Well, you don't feel it is because you're saying it to your friends over there, but it's not like a thing where if somebody was standing in front of you who was black and was like, please don't use it, you're like, fuck yeah, I wouldn't use it, But I guess it's the same here. A lot of white people call themselves, like say to each other the N-word here, but not with a hard R. But it's not like a bigger deal over in Australia.
The N-word?
No, saying it to someone, yeah. But saying it amongst your friends, it doesn't hold because our black people over there, like, aren't that's not a word we call them. That's an American word.
Oh,
so it
totally.
still holds that element.
Right.
But no. But it's like, no, you would never use it.
But if they heard you saying it, they wouldn't. You don't think they would be upset?
No, they would be upset because of. Everybody knows what it means.
Right.
It is not essentially an Australian racist term. An Australian racist term, we have our own multitude of fucking things that we want to be racist about. You know? And they're all, none of them I ever grew up. I didn't even know what that word meant until I was, like, would have been well into my fucking probably even high school before I even understood what that word actually meant.
Yeah.
I'd heard it, but you know where I'd heard it most was like that eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Oh.
You know that?
Yeah.
Catch it, you know, and I was like, you know, catch it, whatever, by the toe.
Holy
shit. That's where I'd heard that word.
Oh my god.
I didn't even know what that meant.
Is that where that comes from? Like, is that...
No.
Was it originally the N-word in that song?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Fuck. I did not know that.
One of the words, I think it's a word that can be substituted in a multitude of ways.
Right.
But that was a word, and I remember hearing that in that, and I'm like, and I had asking, like, what the fuck's that? I got no fucking idea what that is. And it, you know, it didn't have any context to me. You know, like, yeah. But at the same time, at that age, by a certain age, I knew a multitude of names that were racist names for minorities, of, like Australian names. So, you know, so that word there doesn't hold the same weight as it does here. It's a deep word here, you know, that like, and it deserves to be, and it should be. But in Australia, it's very much not. You know, it's very much not. We've got our own, like, you know, deep words that count on that. And if anybody's using that word, they've stolen it. They're not. It's not like they've actually been like, oh yeah, that's a word. That's an Australian word culturally to be insensitive to put black people down. No, that's not. That was not an Australian cultural word to put black people down. We had our own completely other series of words systematically designed to do that.
Right.
You know, so that word in itself circulates very much around inner city areas, white people and everyone, and it's said in certain ways that they, like, I got friends that use it all the time towards their you know, other white people, towards black people that are their close friends. That
I mean, like, people do that here, and it's just depends how you're using it, or I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like you say it there, and it's like people that I know that use it over there on a regular daily basis, amongst, not as a racist term, but as a talking to
like
each
my
other.
friends, yeah.
To use it towards people from anywhere, as well as females, males, as well as like any ethnicity, like just anything as a word. You know, it's really bled into just as a word to use. So we were going back to that thing before of like, you know, what word wouldn't. It's like, well, it depends who you are in Australia and how hard I can push you. You know.
Yeah. So you don't have like here. It's like a lot to confront somebody. We like feel really uncomfortable in that position, but it sounds like you're not confronting, but like you're being like a bitch like all the time. So like when it comes to well, you said you don't really like talk about serious issues, but like do you have like confrontation, and like is it awkward in that, or is it like fine because you're doing this all the time?
To have proper discussions with a lot of, like, in some of those issues with certain Australians, it can be very confronting, which is why we have so many issues with things like same-sex marriage and race, and it can be very confronting to have the open group discussions with your parents, with certain people, certain things. But you know, as a whole, that's how I feel in about those ways. But I know that at the same time, there would be plenty of Australians who would counteract that and be like, "Bullshit! That's fucking bullshit."
Yeah.
We have discussions all the time. You know, we do this all the time. But I feel like as a whole, like there is to have big open group discussions, to sit down with your folks and be like, hey, you know, I feel like this, and or what do you think of this? You're better off just I don't know, like there's other ways to approach it within Australia, and the easiest way is with humor and with that self-deprecating like fucking jabs, as opposed to being like,
let's sit down and talk.
You are wrong. You should believe in this. Every time I try and do that with my parents or people I know, you are wrong. You should believe in this. And they'd be like, nah. Instead of being like, Dad, you're full of shit, man. You're full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, fucking nonsense. You're full of shit. You know, just fucking laugh at him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got to get over that, because you know what? Like, I'm going to keep giving you shit about it until you get over it.
Yeah.
You know, and Dad does that to me about things. Like, he does it to me all the time because I'm so bad at being in contact with him, and he'll just give me it all the time. Nice to know you care about us, son.
Yeah.
Nice to know you love your mum.
Yeah.
You know, like, and he'll do it more like certain times, and I'll get really upset, and I'll be like, call him and go, fuck you, Dad. Like, why are you making me feel so bad? And he'll be like laughing at me, you know? Like, look, I got you to call, didn't I? I got you to be. But, you know, look at you. You're, like, all upset. But this is funny to me. Yeah, like, because it's easier that. It's better that than him sitting down and saying, hey, son, it upsets me. I don't speak to you more often. Because, you know, my family and I are all so tight, you know.
Yeah.
It upsets me, I don't speak to you more often. It upsets me, you know, we all miss you. Like, why don't you call more often?
Yeah.
It's better off jabbing me and making me feel that. But I'm like, I love you. Why am I going to deal with, you know? As opposed to this attitude of like, well, if you don't accept me, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and which happens. It happens a lot as humans, you know, really influenced by that. But that real, like proper Australians, you'll just be like, well, you know, you walk away. You're like, I'm taking my bat and ball and I'm going home. But you're going to come back.
Yeah.
You're going to come back and you're going to be like, well, fine, fuck you guys, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to, you know, you guys, you're going to do it again. Now we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. Going to keep it up. And I feel like that's a dying thing in Australia that would be very much a better, like, system for us dealing with a lot of this stuff. Of like, well, let's just make fun of those who don't believe in this shit instead of condemning them to fucking, you know, you go, no, let's just make fun of them. You guys are full of nonsense.
Yeah.
You don't want this? You guys are like, you know, laugh, you know, like, fuck. Trust you to know that, and this is a big, if I can't trust you to know that you can work hard, I can work hard and like, have a good time with you, I can't trust you. If I'm working with someone and I'm like, can't trust those two things, I don't want to have it. You're an awful person to work with, but you're a fun person to go out with. I don't care. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like, if I trust you to, like, when we're working, that I can just jab you the whole time, and you can jab me back, and we can fucking work hard. We don't stop until the job's done. You know, like, you work hard, and then we go out and you have drinks. We rock up hungover together as fuck, and you're like, okay, well, we're in it together, you know?
Yeah.
We've got this shit. We'll get it done again, but we're going to do both, work and have a good time. Otherwise, but it was the only time my sister went to Sunday school was because she had friends at school that went to Sunday school, and the parents were like, she should go to Sunday school. Christianity is big in Australia.
Right.
I went to a Catholic all-boys school. My sister went to a Catholic all-girls school.
Yeah.
But quickly became apparent for me, and I know a couple of my sisters try and argue with it, but no. It is like bullshit. None of us go to church. My dad he ran a church, like, non-for-profit church organization, like business. But he gave the priest so much shit. It was hilarious. I hung around. Like, Dad got me one time. I used to make clothes. Dad got me to make the priest. I found this fabric that had Last Supper prints all over it. That had the Archbishop of Queensland, I think it was. He was like he was moving on up. He was like the Archbishop moving on up. Dad had me make him a pair of Last Supper, like fucking like house pants, pajama pants, with Last Supper Jesus prints all over them to
That's
give to him
awesome.
as a present. You know, this is the shit that like Dad was. He was
Yeah.
like, no one there thought it was a bad idea either. No one was like, whoa, don't, why are you giving him a pair of Jesus pants? Like a Last Supper fucking pants. No one thought of that. No, everyone was like, it's a fucking awesome idea. Let's
Did
see
the
what
priest think it was funny?
Oh, he loved it. He
Oh,
thought
that's
it was
awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. He thought it was hilarious, you know? He was like, he thought it was great. He was like, no one's ever given me fucking Jesus pants before, you know? I practiced this shit all day, and now I get to wear fucking these pants on me.
Yeah.
He thought it was great. And, so I was raised that, but, like, it was like that, and it had that whole element, but it wasn't. I went to school, one person I was really close friends, no, two, but one guy doesn't really count because he was like the biggest drug addict or druggo I knew. He went to Rosemary 3 times, like did the Rosemary 3 times a week in the morning, and like said he believed it, but you know, like I think he was like, I don't know if he actually believed it, but I had one friend who truly believed it from his upbringing, but he was from Malta, and it was like heavy Christian, like setting over there, like centuries old, and but yeah, so very deeply Catholic, deeply Christian, but and a lot because of that, there was like a lot of, they're finding out a lot of abuse that occurred throughout Australia with the Catholic Church, like a lot, which is fucking insane, you know. And I watch it because I watch it so intensely, because I'm like, after a point, how can you be, you know, like Catholic in that sense? How can you say I'm with a systematic abuse? You know, how can you say that? It's like, how can you do that? Same as voting for Trump. How can you say you're Republican after a point? How can you say that? How can you and not stand for everything? Oh, I don't stand for that, but you do.
Yeah.
You do, and you've got to. If you don't, you cannot pick and choose after a point.
Right.
You know, and so it is, but it's more than people believe that, because most people I knew don't believe that. They don't essentially believe that. They don't go to church every Sunday. They don't. But if push came to shove and you made them choose, they're gonna choose that. You made them say, "Who are you?" They're gonna be like, "I'm Roman Catholic. I'm whatever. I'm this and that." But they don't. They, you know, like don't sex before marriage. Yes, of course. Yes. Fuck. You know, what the fuck? You know, all the things, like what the fuck. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, they don't follow that crap, you know, they don't believe in that. But if you pushed them, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus. You're like quoting them stuff from the fucking Bible. They're going to be like, what? When did it say that shit? What? They wouldn't know any of that.
Yeah.
But a lot of our rules, a lot of our things are written with that in mind, are written with all that. It's all so deeply freaking conservative from that. It's all written within that. But we elected a single white female, bogan female, fucking prime
What
minister.
is bogan?
Like redneck.
Okay.
But not redneck. You know how you got those rednecks that are like educated rednecks, but when they speak, you're like, oh, you're fucking redneck.
Yeah.
She's like bogan as fuck. She had this accent. Whereas, like, you like listen to it, you're like, where the fuck are you from? You know?
Yeah.
Like elected somebody from like maybe Jersey or Boston, you know, like with like a certain accent. Whereas, like, you imagine like a lot of people when they reach political power try and get that out, like get this certain like twang or certain like influence out of their accent. They're like so Jersey Shore or something, where she had it. But she was single, you know? She was a single white female that we elected as a prime minister.
Uh-huh.
We kicked her out before her time was due, but that was like an Australia. It wasn't just because she was female, I think it was because of this, like the setup of the parliament. But that's not a Christian value to do.
Yeah.
You know? She had a partner, male partner, who would what, to have sleepovers at the fucking parliamentary house. That is not a Christian thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a you know, so she thought, but nobody really gave a fuck. People sort of did, and if in that deep sexist way that is, you know, like, as a woman, you know, the deep sexist shit that's just now, like, it's so deeply sexist that it's, like, not sexist. It's
Yeah.
like that. It's so deeply sexist that it's like, we've just accepted that that's just the fucking way it is.
Yeah.
But people didn't give a fuck. Like, we have country areas that do the same shit, but I honestly feel like there's not the same attitude of deep, because it's so short, our history. You guys have deep, fundamental, like, fuck them, kill, you know, like, hang them, lynch them.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have that deep
Hate.
sort of hate and hurt in the same way Aboriginal people do, and they need, like, that needs to be, like, it's not addressed. But I really feel like if that got addressed in the right way, it would like, Australians would be like, fuck yeah. White people just don't want to admit that they're fucking, like, super sensitive and sorry for shit, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to admit that we're like, fuck yeah, you know, we fucked up, you know, and my parents and my great-grandparents fucked up, but
Because people still, like, have those beliefs, so...
Well, and also, people just don't know what to do once you admit that you're a fuck-up.
Yeah.
Where do you go? You only can rely on the forgiveness of the people that you can say, I fucked up too.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to deeply say, I fucked up, we fucked up, I'm willing to take responsibility for my ancestors and for myself, we fucked up. What happens when you hurt someone? What did your parents do? They forgave you because they had to forgive you.
No, after they put Tabasco on my tongue.
Did they?
Yeah, one time. It was pretty terrible.
Sue those motherfuckers. That's awful.
Did you get... this is, like, off track, but, like, did your parents, like, ground you at all growing up?
No, they just beat the shit out of me, so it's fine.
Serious?
Yeah. No, never beat the shit out of me. I could take it. I never got up. My parents used to smack the fuck out of me. I never got upset by it.
Damn.
Never got upset by it. I only got upset when Dad did it once when he was really angry. When he was really angry.
Like, how so? Do they, like, slap you across the face, or is it, like, slapping your butt?
Across the face, I got slapped across the butt. I got fucking, like, grabbed and, like, put in my place.
Damn.
I never got upset by that. The one time was Dad got really upset. He lost his temper really bad one time and fucking, like, hit me. And I remember that. I remember going, fuck. You know, but, like, I afterwards, now I think back and I'm like, oh, yeah, Dad, fuck, man. He was, like under so much pressure, you know, and like I looked at his parents were fucking awful to him, you know, like they were neglectful. They used to go on holidays and fucking leave the kids at home to defend for themselves, like travel around the world holidays. And
They wouldn't get a babysitter or anything?
No, they waited till the kid, like certain members of the kids were old enough to look after the fucking younger kids, and there was six kids. They wait till the ones were like fucking 16, and like you're looking after the younger ones. We're going fucking traveling, you know.
For how long would they leave them?
Like a couple weeks, you know.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Going on trips, going doing travels, and the whole time they were doing things. They were always going out socializing and being like, kids can't come, you know. And then so I like after a while, like I don't blame my parents for anything, you know. Like they did what they had to do. That stuff is part of my tapestry. I've got to feel it. I've got to work. But my parents loved me dearly, you know.
Yeah.
So I never got upset by like when they were like physical and hit me and stuff like that. Partly is because like that slapping on the ass or fucking across the face was like sometimes I deserved it. I knew that. Sometimes it was like whatever. It was what it was. You know? And I'm not. Yeah, and that was a part of this. It was a part of the culture back then too. For a lot of years, you fucking smacked your kids. You smacked your fucking kids. It's very much changed now. You don't smack your kids anymore.
They had like in America. I mean, like even teachers would I think it was more just like spankings
yeah.
or like a slap on the wrist, but
Oh yeah, ruler, man. Like, hold on, a private school, getting the fucking ruler,
yeah,
getting the ruler across. I had a second one waiting. Getting a
nice.
fucking ruler across the knuckles. Oh yeah, you copped a fucking ruler across the knuckles. Man.
Yeah, I never got that, but
never got that. That was before my time.
Right.
Parents punished you, but
Yeah.
your teachers were able to reprimand you, but they didn't smack you.
Yeah.
But yeah. But fundamentally, it's a Christian culture set up like that, and the laws involved are very much like that.
Uh-huh.
You know, like the marriage laws, like we're trying to get past now, where they're trying to put it to a fucking postal vote. Do you know how much of a waste of time a postal vote on same-sex marriage is? I believe it will fail because of the way it's been put to the people. Because I think in Australia, all these things have there's that thing when you're isolated, you have a tendency to say no first before you'll ever say yes. You'll say no because you're like, whoa, I don't really understand what the question is.
Yeah.
Are you asking me to change my core beliefs? No, we're asking you simply to let other people that are in your community that you're friends with just do what the fuck they fucking want.
Yeah.
You know? You're like, what does it mean? And you're like, it doesn't mean anything. It means they get to fucking put a ring on their finger, sign a piece of paper, and say that under the fucking law that they are seen as this. And people are like, when you ask people to think too deeply about that shit, people start coming up with all kinds of reasons why it's not right.
Oh, if we're gonna let a man marry a man, then we should let a man marry a goat.
But exactly. Well, what did and they're like, oh, it's the fundamental fucking. But most of the time, you're talking about people that hate their fucking wives or hate their husbands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're lying there in bed. They're like, just had the worst missionary sex they can imagine. They're like, what the hell poison this fucking asshole? You know? Like, I wonder if I put something in his. That's Australia. That's where that shit's at.
Yeah. Is that common with that kind of vote?
Yeah, with that sort of stuff, yeah, it is. You know, it is. It's the same. It flows around in this rhetoric, you know, and the same as like the boat people are coming. The boat people are coming. Keep off my lawn. They don't mean it. They don't mean it. True Australians don't mean it.
Yeah.
Because they don't. Because all of a sudden, and I know my dad's like this, you know, and it's like, if you actually put it, like really put certain things to him, he goes, I know he doesn't give a fuck about that, the marriage shit, you know, but if you really deeply ask him a lot of these issues, he's like, whoa, no. But it's a no first. Then you get into it.
Uh-huh.
And then by the time you get into it, he's like, wait, what are we talking about? Oh, fucking Bill down the road, yeah? I can marry fucking Tony. Give a fuck about that.
Right.
You know what
it's
I mean?
Not affecting you directly, so why do you care?
Exactly, but when you put it to him on a sense of like this thing of like, hey, what are your core beliefs? You should change your core beliefs. He's like, Jesus, what the fuck's going on? He's like, you woke an old man up from sleeping, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, seriously, that's what it's like. So much of a straight. You're like, what? Wait, what are you saying? What are you saying? And you're like, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know? But got a lot of people, like immigrants, to come in and they put them in the community. Put all these people, highly educated, not educated, whatever. Put people in the community, and they become these highly functioning members of the community. They're like, as long as they work hard, they're fucking happy people, can have a laugh, and they know how to have a good joke. People are like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I love old whatever fucking, you know, old mate from Vietnam down the road. He's a dude.
Yeah.
You know, he's a funny fucker.
Uh-huh.
What a funny fucker. You know, seriously, that's the one. What a funny fucker, you know? It's like, yeah, it's just like everywhere I've ever lived has been like that, you know? People have been like, you know, wary of like outsiders, but then, you know, like, oh no, fucking, you know, old man, no, he's a funny fucker. He's a good bloke. Don't worry about him. He's not included in the people that are the outsiders, you know, because he's an insider. But you know, because we're so isolated, we've always been isolated. We're all the way down at the bottom of the fucking thing, you know?
Yeah.
We're like, part of us is like, we just want to be left alone, but our politicians are like, no, we're global players. And a lot of Aussies are like, no. We're fine. Just, you know, yeah. You gotta get any real job.
Yeah.
Like, unless you either make it yourself or you fucking really work from the bottom up, and then probably you still need it. People won't accept it if you don't have a master's and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not, it isn't a thing, you know?
Yeah.
You have one if you want to go into a certain field, if you're doing a certain thing, but I worked with plenty of people. I've worked with people all through every job I've ever had who had masters in like, one guy I worked with was a master's in biochemistry. And he was like, man, I'm earning a better living being a manager of a fucking hardware store than I was doing fucking sitting in a lab doing fucking tests all day.
Yeah.
I get more time with my family. It's a big thing over there. Holidays. It's a big thing, you know. You get like every job I've ever worked at. It's like you get, unless it's like a crazy like fucking real high corporate shit. You get a lot of holidays. You get a lot of holidays. You get a lot of days off. RDO. You know what an RDO is?
No.
Roster day off. Got an RDO coming up.
It's a what?
A rostered day off. You get just a rostered day off. Hey, I'm taking next Tuesday off, you know?
Damn.
And there's heaps of that. Work real hard, but you like, Australians work some of the hardest working hours in the Western world. But at the same time, there's this thing of like, you get your fucking days off. You get more than 2 weeks of fucking holiday time a year off, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, most people I know, you want at least 6 weeks of holiday time over the course of the year. Yep. Fuck yeah. You want time off.
It should be more.
Should be more.
Yeah.
It should not be a 5-day work week. It should be a 4-day work week, you know? And if it was done the right way, it was like, and a lot of people in Australia have that. They have like 4-day work weeks, you know. Every job, a good job I ever earned was like I was working as a waiter full time, like running a floor 4 days a week, $1,000 a week. I was getting
wow.
Yeah. I paid $150 a week in rent, but that's for like a fucking shit hot place, couple of like walking distance from the beach, and because you pay rent by the week in most places over there, you know. It was like $150. No, it was less. It was $265. Well, so it was $265 for two of us, my partner and I. $1,000 a week I'm earning, 4 days a week, 3 days off, and got the you know, live there and like fucking, you know, you're going out. And part of it was like you finished work Sunday, Sunday afternoon. You finished with like, I would give my tips because you had a tips jar and we'd divvy the tips jar out because you don't get paid tips in Australia like you do here. You don't get your wage; it's included.
So they're all like pooled.
Oh, you don't. Yeah, it's all pooled together. You don't get tips the same way. Some places do, in the sense that if somebody tips you, you might get to keep it. But every place I worked, if they tip, you divvy it out. Some places you had a tips jar. If you tipped, we donated. One place I worked, you donated it.
Is it 20% like the norm over there?
No. I'm saying tips as in, if you have a buck, you put a buck in. If you have,
okay.
Most people do not tip. Like, I usually only tipped if they gave me change, and I would pay and I'd put it in the tips jar.
Yeah.
Or if it was someone who did like exceptional work, I would say, this $5 I'm putting in the tips jar. I'd say that is for you.
So is minimum wage higher over there?
Oh yeah. I was earning what, at $23 an hour.
Holy shit!
No. That was at the place I was getting cash in hand. I was earning more than that at another job. Plus on Sundays I got time and a half.
What's that?
Time and a half. I got paid my full wage plus half that wage again. And on public holidays was double time, which means I got paid twice my usual wage on public holidays.
Holy shit!
Fuck yeah! No tipping is if like people tip you if you do a good job. they don't give you it. They put it in a tips jar, a big jar. Thank you for the tips. There's no
Yeah.
nothing on a fucking like piece of paper that you're like, how much tip do you want to put in? You got to calculate it. No, you want a good wage, but it costs more. You pay more. I got to pay more fucking like food for an omelet. I got to pay fucking more. You go out to dinner, you pay more. Go to the grocery store, you pay more. You
Yeah.
pay more for local services. You pay more, but it's a better system. Like people I lived with who worked full time and did the same job I did, like afford to pay for paying off a car, paying off a house, paying off stuff. Like didn't need to be like, oh my god, I need a fucking master's degree to do something. I could work a job I liked, living in a community I really enjoyed, surrounded by people I fucking loved, made a good wage, hung out with good people. Every Sunday we would fucking I would divvy up our tips, my tips for the day. To the dish pig, the fucking guy who does the dishes in the thing, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna race you to the pub. If I beat you to the pub, you owe me your tips, and if you beat me, I'll give you my tips, because that would usually be paid for like 4 schooners, like 4 fucking what is that, 60 fucking beers,
Yeah.
Usually on a Sunday, enough would be to pay. You have enough tips to pay for like 4 fucking beers, which would be like enough to get me pissed. And the cops were never like, I could drive home, because I live just down the road. Then the cops were never there to like give you a breathalyzer fucking test. So you're like, everybody drive. Fucking everybody fucking disbanded because everybody lived in drive like down the road. You're like, it was hilarious.
Oh my god.
Never don't drink driving, but it was like this funny. It was this funniest fucking thing. It was just this small town. You lived in a small town.
Yeah.
I was driving more than fucking 30 miles an hour for like 2 miles to get down the fucking road.
Yeah.
Everybody. So we like raced the fucking dishy to the fucking to the pub, on a Sunday, and we'd all meet. Everybody would meet at the pub. All the workers, everybody I worked with would be like fucking Sunday drinks. Friday afternoon drinks is a big one. Quit work early to go for Friday afternoon. In Australia, like certain places, you would call and you'd be like, fuck, is it 4 o'clock? I remember this for like 7 years. If it's certain places, you'd be like, they might be closed at 4. They're all out for Friday arvo drinks. They've all gone to the pub for Friday arvo drinks. They're closed. Close early. Shut the fucking doors. We're going to the pub.
Damn, that's awesome.
Dude, shut the doors. We'd be like, dude, shut the fucking doors. So we're going surfing, It was fucking epic. He worked in this cafe. He'd be like, get the word. He'd be like, shut the doors. We'd close the doors and be like, that's it. We're going surfing. No one's getting paid today. He'd go to me, do you want to get paid today? I'd be like, why? He goes, surf's pumping. I'm like, shut the fucking doors. Let's go surfing.
Damn.
Yeah,
that would never happen here.
It wasn't making a cent. You're like, fuck it. But you were like, fuck, what are you gonna do? The surf's pumping. You're like, you're gonna be fine. I was like, I wasn't gonna starve to death. Still had enough money to pay my bills. You're like, fucking shut the doors. We're going surfing. Loved it. Carry the board. I carried the board in my car every single day when I worked in that job. Because you never knew. You'd be like, all right, we'll work until 3. We're meant to be open till 5. We'll work until 3. We'll close it.
That's so fun.
One day was like 10 in the morning. He was like, that was the day. He was like, do you want to get paid today? I'm like, why? He goes, surf's pumping. I'm like, do you want to get paid today? He goes, I don't give a fuck. Let's go. It was great.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got it privileged, man. We've got it really good. Like, seriously. Like, I was able to have unemployment for years. Where I was studying. If you study, I was able to study. My debt was being put off at the time, which I haven't paid off yet. When I was studying environmental science, and the government gave me like $300 a fortnight to live on. I think it was. They gave it to me. Just gave me $300 a fortnight. No, it must have been more. It must have been $400 a fortnight. And that was it. They just gave it to me. You got $400 a fortnight to just be like, cool. There you go. If I needed to pay rent, they would have given me more, but I didn't need to pay rent. They just gave me, so they would have given me more to pay rent if I needed to pay rent at the same time.
Yeah.
So somebody was giving you almost $500 if you needed to pay rent a fortnight. I know it's not that much, but $250 a week to live on.
Yeah, it's pretty
just
decent.
Just just in your hand like that. The government does that. If you're unemployed, they give you more. If you're like disability, they give you more. If it's like so, the government supports you if you're in need over there, such a way that you can get benefits. So a lot of people, or you can work minimum wage jobs and make a decent living and not be fucking just on the street or poverty stricken. Some people are. Some people definitely are. Inner city people, there's plenty of people who are living below the poverty line. But there's a lot of people over there who, within Australia, are sitting pretty. They are doing fine and loving life and getting to experience. Even though they're humans and they're like, oh, my life is so stressful. They are doing really, and they're complaining about the fucking traffic. Oh, the traffic in rush hour. Oh my god. No, they're doing great.
Yeah, it's like they block off full roads. I want to know if they have anything like, is it anything like that, or like you have a sport that's an equivalent to that over there?
Nothing on like a non-professional level. I was actually talking about this with Danny earlier. Nothing that's on a non-professional level, because yeah, like high school, you have the depending on what high school you go to. I went to a private school. Rugby union was the big game, rugby, and that had a big team, and it became the real trendy thing to come and watch rugby. And you'd get together on a Saturday. We'd have cheering practice on the Friday to practice cheers for this big game that was on the.
Wait, were you a cheerleader?
No. It was the whole school cheered.
Oh, okay.
We had our own grandstand, and it was only allowed, students were only allowed to sit in that grandstand. And then they had this cheer squad, who were this group of guys, and they called out these cheers, and like, however many people would rock up that day, which would be like a few hundred boys would rock up, and we'd cheer, and you'd cheer for the football team to win. But even then, the only people that came to watch it were like girls' schools that you were like associated with. Girls would come and get all dressed up, and it'd be like a fun sort of thing. They're like just trendy little thing. Old boys, they called them, the guys who used to go to the school.
Oh, okay.
Back with what Gainesville would have.
Losers.
Yeah. Some of that essentially, of like still reliving the glory of high school, but it still was
glory.
It was nothing like what it is, because there's high school,
Yeah.
There's hundreds of high schools in there. But the thing also was, we all played sports. So like, just because there was one team, there was the A team, the first, they call them, the first 15. They were the best. Then there went the seconds, the thirds, the fourths, the fifths, and at some point they stopped calling them letters and us numbers and started calling them letters. So I played in like the E's,
Did it go all the way through the alphabet?
No, it went down to as many people there was. E's was usually it. But it was like that, so you could play no matter your skill level, whereas college is like you either in the team or you're not in the team, you're not playing.
Right. Well, we have like intramurals for like people who play it but aren't serious about it.
What's that? I've never even heard of that.
It's like I played intramural soccer. I don't know how to play soccer.
Okay.
But it's like you form a team and it's all skill levels. If you're better, you're like, you play against people who actually care.
Against other colleges as well, do you?
Oh, no. It's like within the university.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a fun thing.
Okay, yeah, well, that's fun. No, well, this would be like against all the other high schools.
Oh, okay.
So you were also participating, whereas this is like, I've never seen. There's nothing like this to come close to. Not even professional. Like, Australians are mad about their sport. But even like professionally, unless it's like grand finals week or finals week, where your team is like the team in the grand final, where the street will be blocked off and it's a huge celebration. Not every week,
Yeah.
It's just the season. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
It's blows
insane.
me. It's insane. The way people get on about it, the way like you meet grown men at bars, and they don't follow like professional sport. They just follow college.
Yeah.
College sport, it blows me away.
I've
never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we are mad about our sport. That's the thing. Like Australians are mad about their sport. They follow, like, we have 3 different codes of football played with professionally within Australia. 4 if you count soccer. You know, so we have our own version of like an equivalent to American football in the way that it's only played within Australia. Like gridiron is only played within America to the level that it's played at.
What is gridiron?
Gridiron's NFL.
It's football?
That's football.
Oh,
Gridiron.
okay.
So we have footy. Our footy is like that is AFL, Australian rules football.
Uh-huh.
So it's Aussie rules. So it's only played within Australia at a professional level. And so you got that. We've got and then when it's summer, there's other sports. But it's So we're mad about our sport, and you grow up playing sport. You grow up playing, like, if any age group, you can still play competitive sport, but it's very different over here. The culture of how sports watched, it's watched differently, and it's sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it as like I'm still trying to piece it together when I'm watching a game or talking to people about a game. How the whole, like, following a team, and the seasons play out, then finals, and like it's all very, very bizarre to me. Even the way the games are played, like the fact that they're mostly only played on Sunday, which sort of weirds me out. Why they're not played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, as well as Monday Night Football, as well as Thursday. You know what I mean? Like, why not play the whole weekend instead of having 20 games on a Sunday? Have them all spread out. But then people are like, no, then we've got to watch college football. I'm like, yeah, but it's college football. Like, pro football should overtake,
right.
But it doesn't. It's like college football's the shit. And the
yeah.
fact that I'm so, like, loving your university in Australia, I feel, is very different. You go there to learn. It's you have sort of a pride of being there, but nothing like it is here.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, when I went to the school I went to, I never was like, you're like, I went to school. I had friends who went to, really good universities and things. They were like, that's the university we go to because that's where the best course is for the one I want to do. It wasn't like this like thing where you're like, I go there too. Yeah, man. Like,
and it's like, we're national champions. It's like, you're not on the team.
Gators, go Gators, and I get that of being a part of that, but I'm like, I get here, I'm like, holy shit, that stuff is, like, it's so intense.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, university is purely about the learning. If somebody, I've been there when somebody would, like, try and talk about their university, and they're sitting there with us, and they're, like, going on in a arrogant way about the university they go to, and you'd be like, settle down, mate, shit. What the fuck,
Yeah.
Like, great. You go to a university. Who cares? Like, good for you.
Right.
But it wasn't like this thing of like, where'd you go to school? That's a big one. Where'd you go to school? It was like that when I got out of high school. People would ask, where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to school? And they go, if they knew your school or whatever. But quickly that got stopped when people realized that it's like, when they asked that question, you looked at them with like, who cares?
Right.
That's stopped. But here it's like a big thing. You hear people, like, of all varying ages of adulthood asking people where they went to. Where'd you go to college? Where'd you go to college?
Yeah. Like the house divided thing, like when parents have kids who go to like UF and FSU, and it's like, ooh, like, why do you care?
I don't, I like getting involved in a good rivalry just for the shit talking aspect.
Yeah.
Just like, let's talk shit, but like to actually like feel it is something so different for me. And I wonder if I'd grown up here. I'm sure I would have. I'm sure I would have gone to some college and been like, I'm the college, this college, and go this team, and I don't know, or maybe not. It was all so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
As soon as I got old enough to like drive a car through McDonald's drive-through, I like stopped caring about all that shit. I was like, got a car, and you drive through Macca's drive-through for the first time. You like order yourself like a soft serve,
Ooh, that sounds so good.
just because you can.
Yeah.
That first moment when you got your car and you're like, I'm driving, I can do whatever I want. What am I gonna do?
Unless you go during a
7-Eleven,
hurricane and there's no food.
no food. Yeah, that's true. No check. Was that Checkers? No Checkers
Yeah,
fries. What?
Checkers.
Crazy. But yeah, so the whole college thing is so different.
Yeah.
It's so the whole setup of it. Like I was saying, I think last time in the interview, like having to actually, like, the fact that it's such a big deal that you even went to college is, is so different.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do that and make a good living, and you don't have to feel like you're not doing something like, well, that's just something less if you don't in Australia. If you go to college and you're just like, or university, what we call it over there, and you're just like, this is not doing it for me. This is like this institution isn't doing it for me. I'm being told I have to learn
Right.
when rather be doing something that I'm like gaining life experience.
Yeah. So that's typical in Australia for people to not finish school.
Well, it's not even called not finish school. It's just
or just decide not to do it.
Yeah, heaps of people. I know heaps of people that never went. I know heaps of people that went and dropped out. I know heaps of people that finished and will never use their degrees.
Yeah.
Like,
did your parents finish school or do school?
My mum did. My dad did when he was older. Because he went straight into the workforce. One of those typical stories of going straight in the workforce, and then mum and dad get married. They decide to have kids, and there's no going to school once he's like paying. He's the one working while mum's looking after the kids. And then later on he went to school externally and got a marketing degree. But again, it was just to have the piece of paper. It wasn't anything he didn't know or couldn't learn himself. And he was like, before he retired, he was managing a really successful non-for-profit charity organization. So Mum went and got her master's in education, but again, she only did it because it was like, if I've got this, it was available. Better jobs were available to her. And she already had a degree in education, but she got the master's. But it wasn't like getting the master's was like, oh wow, this is it just meant that when she put her name down, she had the master's, meant that she could apply for more jobs, which I get. But when and so in certain circumstances like that, like she was a teacher, she needed that, but for other people, it's not a big deal if that. Like, I got friends who did trades and they went and got apprenticeships, and they're going to earn more money than a lot of people who have got really good degrees. Like one of my friends, he's on what, 150 to 2,000 a year, and he's works for fixing power lines. He's on like $200,000 a year fixing power lines. Is just went into the workforce, decided he wanted that, got an apprenticeship while he worked, got his job. Now he loves it. He makes really good money. Has like 2 houses. Has like a boat, a car. It's stuff like that. But it's not a big deal. You're not looked down upon if you don't have a degree in certain aspects. Depending on what job you want, there is certain ones where it's like, you should and you got to, but it's not a thing. Well, it wasn't a thing in the areas that I worked in and circulated in, where if somebody was boasting about the degree they had, I was like, good for you. If that's where you want your knowledge to lie, that's great.
Yeah. Do you know of anybody who chose not to do school in Australia and then, say, moved to another country and found that they needed schooling to find a job?
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
This guy right now, if I wanted to go into that sort of realm of, I've got like certificates and things, but if I wanted to go into certain realms, it's like just simple people, the way they ask, the way the dialogue is, it's like, jeez, you need a degree, they want you to have some sort of degree. Yeah, and I did enough schooling in this, like in the things that interest me.
Right.
That I got my degrees, I got my certificates, but yeah, I don't know. It also that could also all of that could also be personal. I just when I was at university, I couldn't stand the institutionalized of it. This why I don't know certain aspects of it. I was like, it seemed just all education just seemed all backwards to me in certain ways.
Yeah.
The way that it's laid out, the time frame that it's laid out. Like these I don't know, the whole system. When I would try and go, I was like climbing the walls. I was like, this is like the most. I just don't get it. I like the knowledge that I get, but the way it was laid out for me was just so boring. Like
Yeah.
deathly boring.
Yeah.
That it didn't seem to relate to anything I wanted to actually do. When I'm sitting there learning the cold hard facts, I'm like, no, this is like killing me. I don't want this. I want to be happy and be outside, or doing the things that I want to do, not sort of So
Yeah.
I didn't relate to university at all when I was there. I just couldn't get into the culture of it or the climate of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's I don't know. It seems a very different thing in Australia. Like a lot of people don't live at the universities they go to. There is
They
housing.
commute.
Yeah, there's housing, but a lot of people, they don't do that either. They commute to the university or they rent houses around in the suburbs, not like university areas where everybody's university students in heaps of different areas.
Yeah.
So and a lot of people try and pick universities close to home if they can get in, rather than doing like long distance, like traveling and living interstate, or so but it seems like a real rite of passage here. You go to a university further away where you're not at home, where that's really not a thing. If you don't have to in Australia, you'd go to a university that was closer to you than you would if it was,
Cool.
But it is the whole system like that. It's still like I said, when I was living there, I was earning really good money. Didn't need a university degree. No one asked.
Yeah.
It's sort of
just a different norm over there.
Yeah, it really is when it comes to that. Like education, is rated highly, but being a good person is rated above that. It doesn't really matter how smart you are if you're a dick. Like people don't care if you're the smartest guy at a party, but you're a dick. You're like, it really doesn't matter. Like I feel like that's a big thing. As long as you're a good person, the rest is sort of like incidental. What the else surrounds that in Australia. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes here there's a push to want to try and find out more of your background or something like that. Like that thing of like, where'd you go to college, or even where you grew up, where'd you grow up?
Yeah.
Where'd you live? Instead of like, I don't know. That stuff has always been like, I don't care. Who cares?
Right. It's just like small talk that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but some people it seems to. They're like, they want to know where you're from and what you do and where you've been, or where you've been to school. And I don't know. I feel like in Australia, like good Aussies, they won't give a shit about that. It's like, how you doing? You're like having, crack a beer and you're sharing a beer with them. And as long as they're a good person who laughs and can have a good time, you'll get along with anybody.
Yeah.
I always pride myself on that I can get along with anybody, essentially. If they're a funny person, they're good. Even people I don't essentially like, if they're the only person I've got to have a beer with, then we'll get along.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Not like, very sexist place. I will say that. It might, Ariana would even be really good to answer this. There's a very masculine culture there around, so I know with my sister was a very high up executive within a number of different organizations, but she was like human resources, but she was like the human resources manager for the McDonald's for the whole of Australia.
Wow.
Like huge. Like,
Yeah.
think about how many McDonald's there would be in one town, let alone one city, let alone one state, let alone, the whole of Australia. It's
Yeah.
crazy. She managed the whole HR, and she did that before she was like, what was she, 25, 26? Which is incredible. She's like, if she was a professional athlete, she would have been an Australian champion. She was that good at this job. It was incredible.
Wow.
Best in her field. Won all these awards. But dude, like I can't remember how big the biggest like speech thing she had to give. She'd have to give these like huge presentations, but I think there were like 10,000 people or something like that, like thousands of people she would give these huge presentations to about HR. And she would tell me the stories of like how sexist it was, how lack of support she had in this industry, and they were all young people. That were McDonald's want to be really young and hip.
Yeah.
They're not full of old men. They're full of young people, and they're all on coke. It's crazy. I met heaps of them. They're like they're all cokeheads, all the young guys, because they got so much money.
Yeah.
Living in Melbourne, the hot thing to do when you live in a city and you're hip and happening is you do drugs, and you do white collar drugs. That's cocaine.
Yeah.
It's fucking boring when I get to hang out. These people are so soulless in so many ways, but which is why my sister couldn't last.
Right.
But she had a nervous breakdown because of the lack of support they would give her, because she was a woman,
Yeah.
She openly said that. She was like, there is no support for women executives in this industry. But for men, they go to the bar and they talk shit, so she knew how to play the game. She would go drink at the bar with the men.
Uh-huh.
To get, to talk to them about things, but then would have to know when it was, luckily she could hold her alcohol well, which the men respected her for. She would tell me, they respect me when I go out because I can hold my alcohol. But if I couldn't hold, then she would drink with some women that would come sometimes that were executives who couldn't hold their alcohol, and they were made fun of.
What, just like not drinking enough, or they would throw up?
No, both. And then once they cross the threshold of not being able to, they've had too much to drink. And men and women act differently when they've had too much to drink, in the different ways that just alcohol affects the system and the body.
Yeah.
Neither one is right or wrong. It's just the way those things are. And so men would do that thing where they'd be like, and they'd make fun of the
It's so fucked up. Like, the level of respect is based on the amount you can drink.
Oh, no, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's a real thing. If, like, it's no, like, doing shots and stuff is, like, fine, but it's not really the way you drink in Australia. You can do shots, but here it's like you're going to get everyone's, like, doing shots and playing drinking games.
Yeah.
We only do that at parties when you're bored.
Really?
Like, really.
It's mostly beer?
You can play some drinking games, but when I'm going to drink in Australia, we're going to drink. It's not like doing shots. We're just settling in. We're going to drink for 7 hours or something, We'll like sit, we'll just beer after beer. We're just beer. Okay, another beer. Your round, my round. Beer. We're not like, if somebody bought you a shot and you're like, holy fuck, let's get crazy. Let's have a shot. But, like shots, you're sort of like, you say there are a period of time, like when you want to get drunk really fast.
Yeah.
But after that, that's like a lot of it. If you're a pub going to drink, and all my friends, when we'd go to drink, we'd go to the bar and you would just spend the night drinking.
Uh-huh.
You just, it was like, you're going to get drunk. You're going to get drunk.
Yeah.
But it's all about the journey of just the drinking. So you sit there and you drink from, however long it takes. Yeah. Whereas here, when we were like, every time we were going out to drink, everyone's like, okay, shots here. We're doing shots.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck. Okay. So, that was like insane. Sort of like, like, no. There's no need for that. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're just going to, it's going to happen. We're going to sit down. We're going to start with one beer. Before you know it, there's going to be, it's going to be hours are going by and we've drunk shitloads of beer. So when you grow up with this thing of like, I think it's probably here too, but it's like when you respect someone more if they can hold their alcohol. So when you're drinking with them, if they're sitting there and they can drink with you and hold their alcohol, there's like this thing about it. So a lot of my friends growing up, whether my best friends were the ones we could stay and drink. We could just drink,
Uh-huh.
and there'd be this thing that this camaraderie, and you'd meet people that you're having beers with, and you'd have a good night. And it was based on they're just throwing them back, just yeah. So Felicity, yeah, she used to have to play this game within her executive circle of knowing when to leave because she could hold her alcohol. They loved having her around until a point where the boys wanted to be boys and they didn't want another female around. So she'd have to know when that time was and be like, okay, guys, thanks heaps, I'm out of here.
Uh-huh.
She'd have to know that, and making sure she insisted on buying rounds because if she was having drinks bought for her, she was just a girl having drinks bought for her, as opposed to being like, no, I'm one of you guys. I'm going to buy rounds. So my round, my shout.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she was just a girl getting drinks bought for her.
Right.
Yeah, it's this crazy system, and then she wasn't getting paid as much. They stiffed her as soon as they could. Like they burn her into the ground, and then wouldn't give her any support. So she had a nervous breakdown, and I don't think they would have done that if it was a guy.
Yeah, no way.
They would have been like there would have been some sort of system there that he could have gone to, and they would have listened to him when he said, "Hey, I need help." When she said, "Hey, this is crazy. You're giving me, the work of 4 people, and I'm doing it all by myself. And you refuse. I need somebody else. I need an assistant. Give me an assistant. No,
Right.
do it. We'll get somebody else if you can't do it. Even though she's the best, the best they've ever had.
Yeah.
Was a superstar, and it's crazy. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah. No, Australia's a really sexist place. It's sort of you grow up. It grows up being like that with those jokes of being like, do you know what a Sheila is? Oh, give me 1 second. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. Do you know what a Sheila is?
No.
So a Sheila's a chick, a girl, a lass, a girl, female. Call them a Sheila. So you grow up with that whole thing of like, don't be a Sheila, when you're yelling at your friends, and don't be a girl, you
That's
grow up.
like we have over here. It's like, oh, you throw like a girl.
Yeah, exact
like with
same
kids.
sort of stuff. Yeah, you Sheila, making fun of each other in school, and stuff like that, or in it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that, and doing that thing where it's like much more like I don't know, like they have the girl that comes along and can join in with all the games. You're like, wow, she's cool for a girl, kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like that sort of like stupid
backhanded.
attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. It's still very, very much a very sexist place, and it's so culturally there that even though we elected a female prime minister, we've elected a female head of state, but she was made fun of the whole time, and
of course.
Yeah, and in ways about her appearance and her, mind you, she had the worst like Bogan accent. Remember we went about Bogans last time? It was like Bogan is like being like rednecky, but
right.
You don't have to be a redneck to be a Bogan. It's just it's sort of put to being a bit more lower class, but like lower white trash, white trash. I guess white trash is a better word than redneck.
Okay.
Redneck is like that's something, but Bogans, they come in varying degrees of white trash. Yeah, she was essentially a great prime minister, but she was still didn't get and she was single. How crazy is that? She was single. That's nuts. That was actually a big thing. She was a single female elected to the head. That's huge. Australia's such a Christian country. It's so huge to elect a single female into power. Julia Gillard was her name. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And that should have been the starts of a lot, but she I don't feel like she played or went with her power to help women. I don't feel like she did. I think she was trying to live in the man's world. It's such a politics in Australia is such a man. It's a man's world here too, but it's so bad. It is so bad there. The same attitude that Felicity had, my sister had to deal with, is what the politicians have to deal with over there. It's a boys' club. You know, and it's all about drinking. It's all about like $20,000 business lunches where they just get shit faced. You know.
Yeah.
And so she didn't really change anything for female rights while she was in power. There was no huge talk of, wow, we've got a female prime minister in, let's you know, let's open this debate up. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
It was sort of like, it was a bit of a weird time. So no, Australia's really there's a lot of great like females over there doing great things to change that. But nothing like here. Nothing like the ferocity that's here of like when I'm learning about like, okay, just how to, I've got to shut my mouth more often and then even putting in an opinion.
Yeah.
My time to speak has sort of been done essentially. So I got to like learn how to be quiet instead of being like, hey, I've got something to say as well. And then everybody looks at me going, nobody cares. And I'm like, oh. But it's not true. There's no place for here at the moment. There's no place for white middle class men to have any say. Yeah, just learn to be quiet. That's a big lesson since being here. So, yeah. But so no, that's a big one. I can really comfortably, assertively say Australia is a very sexist place.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how sexist it is to come here and see what's going on here, and then the way it's going on in Australia. It's very different. And, so the wage gap is huge. The jobs and everything. Everything's still essentially very huge. The dialogue is a big one. The dialogue for men and women is very different over there. Like the way it's. You're like, okay, so I'll put it this way. I doubt it's much different here because I think it's just something that's not spoken about. But the number one health risk to women in Australia, I don't know if it's still the case, but in like 2010, maybe later, 2011 or 12, was domestic violence. That was the number one health risk to women in Australia. You think about a population of, 23 million. That's incredible. It's insane. It was like domestic abuse, number one health risk to women. That wasn't just physical violence. That was more emotional and mental than it was just physical. Because physical was actually on the lower end. It was more the emotional and mental abuse that was given, which is crazy. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But that shows that divide between men and women.
Right.
There's a real divide, and it's crazy. It's crazy, and Ariana would be interesting. Her living there for a year, what she saw with it. But I know what I saw. I know it was
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah, it's insane. And I've got 3 sisters and everything too. So
right.
But they're not. None of my sisters are really like advocates for like wanting to be like the change. It's also something I don't think that movement was born in America.
Yeah.
There's something about that movement in America. All those movements, they're huge and they're born here, and sort of you're culturally. It's like part of the culture to have those movements. It really, I don't feel like is the same in Australia to have those movements.
That's
feel like
interesting.
it's like there's been revolts over time, but not the same cultural. Australia really is lacking a cultural identity on many ways. We're so
that was epic. That started with me asking